Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list was inspired by last week. Last week I was going over all the stuff on my table and I found 10 envelopes containing miscellaneous finds. I also decided I was going to go through a stack of, what do you call it? There's binders and there's books and there's notebooks and there's scratch pads and stuff like that. And periodically when I film a video, I will stick a note with a particular notebook. And well, I decided to clean out that pile too. So these are the top 10 notes that were in my miscellaneous pile. Once again, just interspersed with all kinds of stuff. I'll come up with a better title, I'm sure. But anyway, kind of a random list, but it's stuff that was sitting on my table that I have to find a place for. So here we go. Number 10. Starting off, I have these plastic coins. I did a video on these before. These plastic coins, I believe, were from a small Russian province or something like that. I've got the 1, the 5, the 3, and the 10. And these were interesting. They feel like guitar picks in your hand. Just a really interesting thought process. Rather than using any kind of precious metal for coinage, they used these plastic chits. And they ended up taking these out of circulation, I guess, because the older generation didn't really find these. They didn't want to use these, and the newer generation is doing everything online, so they didn't really have a place. I wanted to grab a full set of these while I could, so I picked them up, and yeah, ever since I did the video, they are currently sitting on my table. Try to zoom in real close on these. Yeah, I can't read that. I don't know what language that is. I'm sure it's Russian, but just interesting stuff here. 2014 is when these were put out. And I did a full video on these, so you can check that out if you like. But that is number 10. Number 9. I noticed that I had a 1976 $2 bill sitting here. A lot of people who like to collect $2 bills will stress how rare the 76 $2 bill is. It's not. I don't collect $2 bills specifically, and even I run across 1976 $2 bills quite often. So I kept one on the table just for reference if I needed to for any of my videos. And yeah, I've actually got a stack of these with my other $2 bills that I have. And like I said, I don't make an effort to collect $2 bills, yet I still managed to acquire quite a few of these. And the 1976 version, that is the first version that has this particular back on it. Yeah, they aren't that rare. They are fairly easy to come by, and that's why I keep it handy for some of my other videos. That one is number 9. Number 8. I have a $10 star note. This one I did get in circulation, and it is a star, so I decided I was going to hold on to this one. Checking out the back, you guys know what a $10 bill looks like, of course. Nothing special about this particular 10, but when you hear everybody talking about how star notes are going away, it's very easy to spot one of these and to put it aside just because it's only $10. I can put $10 aside and not think about it too much. Maybe they will be worth millions. No, I doubt it. But it's still nice to go through stuff and find a $10 bill just laying there, and this one happens to be a star. What better reason to hold on to it? So that one is number 8. Number 7. This is kind of neat. Unfortunately, there's some kind of stain right here on the front, but this happens to be a monochrome $100 bill that also happens to be a star note. The Monochrome series did not last very long, so if you are trying to put together underrated notes, I think the entire Monochrome series fits that. Nobody liked them, nobody held on to them. There's not really that many of them out there. You'll still find them in circulation, but not in good condition. So if you can find one that's in decent shape, definitely worth holding on to. And once again, if you're going to find them with stars, all the more reason to hold on to them. Whenever you've got a shorter print run and a star, yeah, that's plenty of reason to hold on to something like that. So that one is number 7. Number 6. This was a previous bank find. This is a fairly crisp 1993 small head $20 bill. Yeah, it's got some stuff on it. Yeah, it even looks like it's got a little bit of inking there on the top. But overall, the note's in decent condition. And like I said, this is one that I got from a bank. So I got it for face value, decided to hold on to it. Didn't know what to do with it. It ended up in the pile on the table. There it is, a 1993 $20 small head. They're only, you only think that they're easy to find until you actually try to look for one. So go to your bank, see if they have a small head. They probably don't. They may, but they probably don't. That's why I tend to pick these up whenever I can. I do have an envelope with all my small head stuff. Just kind of neat to tuck away and stumble across later on, if you know what I mean. All right, that one's number 6. Number 5. I have a Where's George note. This one actually has a pretty neat stamp on it. It's a two-tone stamp. Track this bill, where'sgeorge.com, in red, and then it has the green bubble around it like that. And I thought that was neat. I don't even remember if I logged this one or not, so I'll have to probably type in the first couple letters and see if it pops up. Where's George is not worth any money regardless of the amount of effort you put into the stamp. If it was, you would just buy the stamp and stamp all the bills and you'd be printing money. So yeah, it's not that hard to put a little bit of extra effort into your stamp. That does not make it worth more money. Still fun to find, and when you do stuff like that, though, it does make it that much more likely that someone will spot the bill. And ideally, that's what we're going for with Where's George. So that one is number 5. Number 4. I have a pair of notes, and these are called fantasy notes. I've done videos on these in the past. These are both $100,000 fantasy Confederate States of America notes. They are both based on actual notes from the Confederate States of America, but they never did denominations of $100,000. So they are considered fantasy notes. They are done to look a lot like the original. Here you can see the Lucy Pickens. This would be a $100 note. And this particular one also, I want to say it was a $100 note, but I don't believe so. It looks more like the old $2 note that they might have done different things with. A lot of the pictures, a lot of the writing seems to be from various notes when they put all this together. Looking at the back, even the back has been falsified, I guess you can say, to say 100,000 here and 100,000 here. And I'm pretty sure these are both the same. Looking at those, you've got the same design here, and if we're looking here, yeah, so it's the same back design for these fantasy notes. Don't know how old they are. These are probably semi-modern, and I say that meaning maybe the 1930s or 1920s. So they're not of the time, so we can't call them counterfeits, but they are fantasy notes because they are memorializing notes that never actually existed. So that one is number 4. Number 3. I did not buy this note. This was part of a collection that I bought. So I didn't buy the note. I didn't have it graded. But here it is, graded. It grades A66. A 1999 Federal Reserve note from New York. But look at the serial number. 77777771. 7 sevens in a row. That's pretty cool. You guys have seen me talk about low serial numbers and how hard those are, and you've also seen me do videos on solids and a one-off, which would be 7 of a kind or 7 in a row. And here's one that was actually graded. Now, I know a solid is going to run anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. I guess that means a note like this, which would be 10 times as easy to find, would be in that $100 to $300 range, especially when you consider the grade, 66 EPQ. So, once again, I understand why this one was graded. This I got as part of a group that I bought. So, once again, I understand why they graded it. Would I have graded it? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. I'm glad that I have it. I have no thoughts of selling it. This is going to stay as part of my collection. But once again, just a neat note that was in the stack and I wanted to show. That is number 3. Number 2. One of my favorite notes from Canada. This is the $50 1975 Canadian Bank of Canada note. You can see right there it says 1975. Just really cool imagery on there. All the cool colors, the way that those all come together like that without mixing. Excellent job on the print. Very cool background design there. But the part that makes this note so cool is, of course, that back. You've got the Mounties in circle, in formation like that. Very, very cool note. This one happens to be graded 53, and it did get the EPQ, 53 EPQ, about uncirculated. Exceptional paper quality on the back. So yeah, I tell you guys about this note all the time. This is mine. This is the one I'm going to keep, unless, of course, I end up with one that was graded better than this particular one. I'm not really on the hunt for it because I'm satisfied with this particular note. So this is probably the one that's going to be the keeper for my collection. That is number 2. And finally, number 1, another pair of notes. They also happen to be from Canada. This is from 1954. This is a $100 Canadian note. This is the first note to feature Queen Elizabeth. Now, that very first series, they copied the picture. It was a color portrait, and of course it was converted to black and white by the engraver, and this was what his image looked like. And if you look real close, you can see a nose and a mouth and the eyes and horns. The image of the devil appeared when they converted it to black and white. Once it was discovered on there, they decided to modify the engraving right here so that you can no longer see the image of the devil in the Queen's hair. They did this on every denomination: the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 1,000. I don't think they made a 500, but there are $1,000 bills with the devil's head. This is the obviously $100 note, and for a $100 note, there's the back, just in case you guys were curious. This is most likely the largest denomination devil's head I'm going to get. I know that I can pick up the 1,000, but it is so expensive that there's a lot of other notes for that same price range that I would much rather get. But to have the $100 note, the devil's head, and the modified version, well, that's just pretty cool. And I'm sure I've recently done a video featuring these, and that's how they got pulled from my regular collection and left in the pile. I would have gone looking for these for a long time if I didn't clean out that pile, because I wouldn't have bothered to look there. So I'm glad I did. All right, that's what I've got for you guys this week. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.